Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
I'm very, very new to IFS. And IFS was a bit of an epiphany for me, to say the least. So I was one of those people, and I guess if you listen to Richard Schwartz speak, this makes sense, I guess. But I've always been keenly aware of my parts. I've always been involved with my parts. They have names, they have epic, they come from different epics in my life. And it was just really strange to me to discover IFS, to learn that this is actually a thing. This is not just an internal thing that I happen to be partial to. And of course, once I discovered that, I, of course, just couldn't get enough of it, reading and watching videos. And I came across your podcast and just started, of course, listening and just really felt, number one, kudos to you, because I think you make a huge contribution.
Thank you.
For folks.
Yeah.
And that really impressed me. And I was impressed by the fact that I know that you're not formally trained, but you're really into the model and believe in it. And that's so clear in what you do. And I really respected that.
All right.
And so it made me want to participate and to experience what it would be like to be in a session with you, to see what came up. So that's kind of why I'm right here with you right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So have you done IFS with any other person?
So I've done, once I learned about it, I'm talking new, within months. I've done some personal sessions after listening to videos and stuff, putting a Richard Schwartz tone of voice in my head and walking myself through it. I've done a few sessions like that and discovered some cool things. And I had one session with someone who is trained in IFS.
All right.
And each and every one of those experiences were quite deep.
Yeah. Great.
So I'd be curious to see what happens and what comes up here, and would be interested in potentially, if you have openings to do continued sessions with you, because I feel like you're very open in your approach. And I find that spaciousness very intriguing.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Good to know that you're interested in the possible, continual work, because I am I'm kind of screening out people who aren't. So
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, that's why I thought I'd say it up front.
Thanks. Cool.
Is that enough? Does that kind of give you a sense of why I'm sitting here and I'm so enthusiastic about it?
Uh-huh. All right. Got any parts that you'd like to get to know better or change your relationship with?
Well, there's one that's kind of come to the fore in the last week or so. And so I just pondered if it still wants me to get near and maybe explore it. And I think I'd like to take a look at the imposter.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. So what do we already know about the imposter? How does it show up when it shows up in your body?
The imposter shows up kind of as maybe like a puffed out chest kind of person, a persona that's kind of really outward, and not really bold, but sure of itself in its own way.
Okay.
Kind of in that chesty area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How are you feeling towards it now?
I have a deep appreciation for the imposter now that I understand that the imposter is there.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I discovered the imposter was I've had this chronic strange feeling that I wasn't living my own life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been with me nearly my whole life. And it was since I started to get into IFS that I realized there's something in that. There's some part of me that's generating that feeling. And that's how I came to meet the imposter. And the imposter is sometimes very blended with me, maybe too much so.
Yes.
And another part that maybe plays into this that I should bring up is I recently discovered I have this part with almost a comical name called Sally, who I've been very blended with to the point where I didn't have any separation with her at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She was really running the system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, full on running it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she worked very closely with the imposter. So she needed things done. She always got stuff done. Like, she's magnificent in her ability to be in the world, get things done. Like, she's like my hero, Sally, now that I know her. But what I didn't recognize was that she was working really, really closely. And Sally and the imposter were so blended with self that I didn't actually have a sense of self when they were so highly activated in me.
Yes.
And they work together to create this environment that's very protected. It's very achievement oriented.
Mm-hmm.
It's very faced outward, not inward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the imposter is highly sensitive to the workings and the particulars of both environment and context and the people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Really sensitive, like
Mm-hmm.
hyper vigilant and sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a great understanding. Like, I really have started to be able to unblend a bit from these parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to feel a deeper sense of self, something separate from these two parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to develop deeper relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
I have deep appreciation for them. because I understand how important they've been in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to kind of unravel the more delicate pieces of them.
Yes.
And the subtleties of them, because they're not subtle parts at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're very faced forward and kind of bold.
Okay.
They make no space for their own subtleties to be heard or to seen or to be detected, which is mirroring the exile that they're protecting. I know that.
Okay. Do you want to say more about what you know of this exile?
Yeah, so my exile has a name and has always had a name. I've always known of my exile. It's called the little one. And the little one hides under the bed. Never comes out. And the little one has the Emperor's terracotta army protecting it.
Okay.
And the imposter is kind of and Sally are the two real dominant ones.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's kind of the connection.
Yep.
Exile, I've been able to get close to the exile, the little one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's let me come under the bed with her.
Mm-hmm.
She's allowed me to give her a cuddle.
Mm-hmm.
Sally won't allow her to touch her because she's afraid she'll lose her own power, her strength.
Sally won't allow who to touch who?
Sally won't allow the little one to touch her. So I can't bring the little one in near to Sally.
Okay.
And it's not because the little one is not afraid of Sally, but the little one is afraid if Sally doesn't have all her power, she won't be safe.
Okay.
And if they come too close, Sally is, of course, afraid she'll become this gentle, small child instead of the power force that she is that runs life.
Mm-hmm.
And the imposter is one that has kept her really safe in a dynamic that the little one is probably 4 or 5 years old and has been permanently in that age.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of the dynamic that seems over the last few weeks that I've been trying to work out, to find a way, although I can get close to the little one, I can't get her out from under the bed.
Okay.
And the imposter is very busy stepping in. And I've grown to understand that this feeling back to the imposter is that I'm not living my own life. It's because the imposter came to be as a protector for the little one, primarily in my primary relationship with my mother.
Okay.
And that the imposter always put on and did whatever persona really was needed from the little one's perspective to keep the mother happy, because that's how the little one was safe.
Right.
And so in essence, I haven't been living my own life because the imposter has been propelling me in this bid to keep the mother happy.
Yes.
So the little one felt safe.
Yes.
So I still haven't been able to get the imposter to stand down, or to find a way to work with the imposter to just find something else to do, to be some other way.
Okay.
And somehow feels really important to this whole dynamic.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And congratulations for having done all that. And seen all that. How do the parts feel in the way that you're relaying their characteristics to me? Are they on board with those descriptions?
They are, but defensive. The imposter right in the chest area, it feels very puffed out chest. How dare you? There's a lot at risk here if you try to break this ability, this chameleon-like ability to be all things in any situation. So there's a huge defense there. The imposter is feeling threatened, I think, but also understands that what I've expressed is accurate.
Okay. Lovely. So I want to let that imposter part know that I have no intention of disabling any part or taking any of its abilities away. That's not my goal. And the parts are good at things and are there for a good reason. And so we want to help it find what it does want to be doing, if not this job, or if it feels like it has to do the job. We just want to look for options for it that it's happy with.
Yeah, it's loudly saying I have to do this job as long as the little one's under the bed.
Got it.
I have no
believe
choice.
it.
I believe it too. It makes sense to this little part of me that's now unblended from it and unblended from Sally. It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I have a question, if you don't mind, before we continue with the imposter. Earlier, when you were talking about your work with the exile, you mentioned something about Sally won't allow the little one to touch Sally.
Yeah.
My question is, where was self in that negotiation? Like, whose idea was it to have Sally and the little one touching?
That's a good question.
Or what? Yeah, what was the motivation for that?
So I wanted to say self was the one with the idea. But now that you raised the question, I'm not 100% sure that's fair and accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if there's some other part involved in that.
If Sally has been so blended in running the show, then parts may be deferring to Sally and saying, yeah, well, she's the queen bee here. So if we're going to get someone out from under the bed, the next thing we would do is go hand them over to Sally.
Yeah.
It's just an assumption.
No, but it makes really good sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it resonates.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't have a particular, and usually my parts readily come with identifiers.
Mm-hmm.
Sally's the only one that has like a personal name.
Mm-hmm.
Force of life, that one. But it doesn't make sense that the self would try to force that kind of interaction. Like, stepping back a bit, I say to myself, what was going on there? I didn't need Sally to touch little Kerri or little Kerri to touch Sally.
Yeah. Yeah, typically we're asking the protectors to give us space to work, right? So that we can have kind of some alone, direct, contact and communication with any part.
So I think there must be some other part that's playing diversion in there, trying to disrupt it, trying to kind of prevent the healing, prevent the little one from coming out from under the bed.
Yeah, could be.
Or something.
Or, yeah, again, my hypothesis was maybe that's just been the way things go, that if Sally's the main manager, then everything gets run by Sally. So it could have just been some habit or pathway that's typical.
Meaning a pathway that's typical for Sally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the system, for your parts, they check things out with her.
And that's true. I mean, that is, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting question, and something that because of course myself, the self in me, really, really empathizes with the little one under the bed, and is very curious about. I understand all the reasons she's under the bed, or maybe I don't even understand them all, but I understand the breadth of them. But I'm so curious as to how to approach her to give her some healing, and to get the imposter and Sally to, just the two, as I said, there's a terracotta army, but to stand down a bit and give her some space. And Sally is afraid of the little one, that I know.
Sally's not afraid of her?
She is.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Great.
She's afraid she's too vulnerable.
Yes. Yep. That's normal.
So it's about trying to make space to understand the imposter and Sally. And yeah, Sally's exhausted. I mean, Sally's like the pack mule of the whole system. Everything rides on her, and she doesn't really want that role, but she knows everything will fall apart if she doesn't keep it, and she's so good at it.
Yes.
Like
and you've shown her appreciation for that, and you've shown the imposter appreciation for its role.
Yes. I do genuinely love them and appreciate them. They're so competent.
Yeah.
And in their own way, loving for wanting to, fiercely take care of the little one.
And how's their awareness of self?
This has been a struggle for me, the blending. Sally is kind of hard and comes hard. And I'm just barely starting to make space for self, between self and Sally. And the imposter is like a warm, cozy blanket over self, It's the Halloween costume you wear around,
Yeah. So when you're showing them appreciation, does it feel like they're receiving it from you and acknowledging who you are?
Yes. And they're happy to have the appreciation, and they know it's genuine, but Sally still has a grip on it all. She's kind of like, I really appreciate, she radiates in the gratitude and the love that I send her. But she then kind of is like, yeah, well, I'm keeping this ship going here, This is and then I get pulled back into it, or into the chameleon-like nature of the many disguises of the imposter.
Okay.
And strengthening self, I think that finding that capacity to create distance and not be so blended.
Yeah. Well, parts can overpower self. That's just from kind of a power perspective, parts can blend and kick self out of the driver's seat. And so it is, in my mind, it's more of a negotiation to get space from them. And the self doesn't need strengthening and perfecting, because it already is. It already is. and to let it shine is just an act of getting space from those parts, which might have been what you were saying, but that I just wanted to put my words on it.
Yeah, it's helped to have it, to hear it reiterated that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have this image that I've been playing with, where I'm trying, I being the self, am trying to build a campfire and invite all my parts to come and join me, where everyone has a place, and where we can sit around and appreciate each other and tell each other campfire stories about who we are and get to know each other. This is the visual I've been working with. And of course, Sally wants to organize the whole thing. She needs to make sure the fire is the right size. There's enough supplies, fire, and everybody has everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And the imposter doesn't really wants to make sure it has the right disguise or protection costume.
Yeah.
I can't get that full separation from them.
Yeah. It's a lovely analogy or metaphor. I hear in that vision of yours, I hear again the parts getting to know each other better. And it kind of reminds me of trying to get Sally and the little one together. And I would just like to offer the vision of, what if everyone had their own campfire and they could bring whoever they want? What if each part had its own world that was just for it? And the chameleon doesn't have to be anything except what it is, because the other parts aren't there judging it. And Sally doesn't have to organize anything because she's the guest of honor. And there's no one else but self in that world.
So Sally would have her own campfire.
Yes. Parts can each have their own space. I think that often we're trying to get parts to get along. And in a way, I'm often steering people away from that and saying, no, that's the status quo. They've been kind of trying to get along in their own way forever. Let's give each of them their individual space and say, you can just be yourself. You can just communicate with me, self, because I have spaces enough for all of you.
It's a really lovely idea. Sally likes that.
Yeah. Great.
Sally likes that. Sally's tired of organizing everyone and getting everything
Sounds
to be
like it. Yeah.
Like, she's just plumb had enough of it, but she's petrified to stop. And the whole group of us have been in that, like you said, that dynamic of trying to force ourselves into a kumbaya moment.
Right. And now she's got this new project on her hands called Learn IFS, and get all the parts around campfire.
Yeah.
Right.
Sally's very busy and she does a good job.
Yeah.
That's a lovely idea. So just let them have their own campfires, however many they are. They'll light up the sky.
Yeah, let them have whatever they want. And the important part, I think, is that they get to be themselves and have a break from the push and pull from their brothers and sisters in the family, where they get to be alone with the leader that is self.
That's really a relaxing thought.
Yeah.
And self likes it. Self is like, yeah, I really would like to get to have time with each.
Right.
Self really, that's just nice. It's just a nice idea.
It is nice.
And it feels much kinder than what was going on. Sally's really pushing this agenda that we got to get her out from under the bed.
Right.
This is her agenda.
Yeah.
She's on it. She's serious about it.
Okay. Should we start with her?
Sure.
Okay. So Sally has this agenda to get out from under the bed. And why is that so important for her?
Because it's like the key to her own freedom.
Okay.
If we can heal the little one, then Sally can go put all her enormous competent energies into other things.
Yep.
Fundamentally, that's the bottom line. And she'd like a vacation in between those.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah, I think she's right about how. I think she's right about how it works. Yeah. And I'd like to know, kind of from Sally's perspective, what is she afraid of, or when the little one is under the bed, how that costs Sally?
How her being under the bed costs Sally?
Yeah, when the little one won't come out.
So Sally's response to that is, when she's under the bed, I know what to do. I know what my job is.
Okay.
I can carry the world on my back if I need to. I can make mountains manifest if I have to keep her safe under the bed. That's clear. It's a clear role. I'm really good at it.
Yes.
I'm exhausted from it. I don't want to do it. So therefore, the motivation to get her out from under the bed. If she comes out from under the bed, what happens? Sally is actually afraid of that because she's so good at what she does and she's so habituated to what she does that if the little one comes out, self will be in control. And it'll be a quieter, gentler way of being in the world.
Okay.
Sally doesn't know what to do with that.
This sounds really important.
Sally's a doer.
Yeah. And it sounds really important for me to understand. I would like to really make sure that I understand all of this clearly. So I'm sorry if I'm going to ask questions about it that you already have all the answers to.
No. There are no answers here. There's just what's going on inside me.
Okay.
Please ask. It's helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm hearing that Sally wants the little one to be healed.
Yeah.
Which includes not needing the bed to hide under, correct?
Correct.
But also has a fear of the little one being healed, because that would mean that self is more in control and Sally's out of a job and lost her power.
Yeah. And what does a powerful doer do when the system is a gentler, softer place to be, a safer place to be?
Great question.
That's Sally's question. I don't know how to be anything else, basically, is Sally's fear.
What would she like to be doing?
Playing.
What's her play look like?
It's kind of like a outdoorsy, nice day, frolicking in nature. What Sally in her full blown beauty would call wasting time.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah. She wants to just be part of the world that she's part of, but never been able to really experience because she's so busy.
Okay.
And she's very creative.
Very creative?
Yeah.
So, powerful doer isn't actually her true identity. That's just a role of hers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the answer to her question of what does a powerful doer do when the system is in a safer place is the answer she gave, which is that role might not need doing, and perhaps she could be frolicking.
And she sees that. She feels a yearning for that. But she's almost tearful about it.
You okay with that?
Yep.
Would it be okay for her to let us know more about what's coming up for her around that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It makes her sad. Because she's always felt her creativity and the frolicking and the earth child in her, being in nature, was just a concept. It was just something that was there as kind of a counterpoint to her doing. And so it makes her very tearful to think that it's actually something she could be, not just a counterpoint to bring relevance to all the doing. And that makes her, it's an awakening, and it makes her tearful.
Okay.
She could actually move to that place of herself.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to do it by herself because she would have self's help in that.
And that's a strange concept. She's not sure. She's not sure about that one.
Right.
She's not sure she trusts self. Who does self think it is? This is where the back goes up. Sally's back goes up. Who does self think it is? I know how to run this thing. I've been doing a great job.
Okay.
So there's the tearful, oh my, awakening of, oh, that is actually possible. That's real. It's not an imagined kind of escape to all the doing. And then there's the, oh, but self. Who do you think you are?
How do you feel towards her?
I personally find her beautiful and amazing.
Can you let her know that you find her beautiful and amazing? And just stay with that for a moment?
I'm telling her that I really admire her. And she's softening but resisting.
She wanted to know who self thinks it is or who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the one who can admire and find beauty in all parts.
She's hesitant, resistant, but is intrigued and leaning a bit towards the softness of it. The reality that she's being admired for all she's done, but also for what she could be, which is something very, very new for Sally.
Yeah. Yeah, because you would also like her to have the frolicking, right?
Oh, I'd be delighted by it.
Uh-huh.
I would love to see her genuinely doing whatever it is.
That's right. She deserves that.
She more than deserves that.
Mm-hmm.
And that, for Sally, is a very strange concept. This kind of self, I'm putting out this, I want to nurture you, not the doer. And Sally feels this kind of melting of, I've never felt that before. What is that? It's foreign to me.
Yeah.
And then the warmth of it draws her in.
Yes. Again, you use the language that she's sad that it's a concept. Because I'm guessing for her that's also just been a concept. Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
She's hesitant with that. She's not sure she's buying it fully.
You shouldn't have to. Self is persistent. Self is like water that carves a path, because self is consistent in the way it shows up. It shows up with love, and the answer to everything is kind of love. So the self's answer to everything. So parts often don't trust or have any concept or awareness of self, but every time we do this work, they get another glimpse. And so we don't have to really convince them. We just ask them how they are, and we are present with them. And right now we have Sally separate from these other parts. We don't have 100 other parts coming in to try to steal the show. And you're getting to experience that, and she's getting to experience that. What is it like to be in the presence of self? What is it like to be in the presence of someone who just likes you for who you are?
Yeah.
And wants what you want, wants you to have what feels right for you.
She's amazed by it.
Mm-hmm.
She's been so hardened and efficient and bossy. And self is anything but that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a strange conversation for her, because she's used to just bossing everything around, telling it what to do, making sure everything's this, that, or the other. And this is a strange conversation for her.
Yeah. And we can respect that and acknowledge that it is strange for her. It might be sad for her.
It's more relief to feel someone actually caring, noticing her. Because she's the one who's noticing everybody else tirelessly, making sure everybody else is doing what they need to do. And now someone is noticing her, and that is just shocking. In a kind way, not in any kind of...
Yes, that's right.
She feels a lot... She says she feels like she's radiating a bit, and it's both uncomfortable and nice. She's not quite sure what to do when she turns attention to herself instead of towards her utter focus on the little one and keeping it safe and keeping the system running. This is completely foreign to her.
Yeah. And that's the message that we can send her, is that she doesn't have to be alone in her work. She doesn't have to be alone in her awareness of all the other parts, or the checking on all the other parts, or managing.
It's like a seismic shift to her. Something she could have never fathomed or imagined or thought possible.
Yeah.
She said she just wants to sit down for a moment with me and be cozy and comfortable, not back up straight, hypervigilant.
Yeah, you can just invite her to do that, invite her to make whatever space she wants with you. And you can offer her whatever she wants.
She's a bit amazed that there's a space created as she wants it, not as someone else wants it. That it's for her.
That's right.
I keep telling you deserve this. Come in, you're welcome. Get comfortable, leave all that cargo as you enter. she's slowly coming towards the threshold.
Yeah.
Drawn and hesitant all in one breath.
Yeah. And we're inviting her to enjoy the space and the presence again as she wants it. It's hers.
Yeah, this is
so. Mm-hmm. And we're also not making any promises or, you never have to do this or that again or anything about any other parts. We're just saying in this moment with self's presence, you can have it as you want.
She's amazed by that, the calmness of it,
mm-hmm.
the nurturing calmness of it.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps just saying, I just want to stand here and feel it.
Yeah, great.
She's kind of running over in her mind, am I safe? Is everything safe if I just sit here in this lovely space with you? And I keep reassuring her, everybody's fine. You're safe. Everybody else, all the other parts, they're fine. The little one's fine. And then I can feel her want to push. Yeah, but we want to heal the little one.
mm-hmm. Yeah, well, maybe if we went and checked on a little one, we would find lots that she's not fine about. But it's not something that we have to solve right now.
Yeah.
Because all parts matter. They're all good parts. We want to know all of them. And there's nothing wrong with her going first.
And she's really grateful for your suggestion of not having to organize a ginormous campfire where everyone's sitting around behaving and kumbayaing. And
I think that's probably the number one thing that scares people away from IFS is the idea that they have to organize it all and their managerial parts getting involved and saying, well, I can't keep track of all of this. How can I satisfy 1,000 people inside of me?
yeah. And that she feels would be her responsibility.
Right. That's the manager kind of job.
So she's just taking this moment, trying to cherish it,
mm-hmm.
trying to feel safe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just feeling very awakened by this concept that she could frolic and be creative and be an earth baby.
And she doesn't have to stop doing anything. We're not asking her to do anything or stop doing anything.
That's important.
We're just showing her kind of what self is capable of. And when her mind goes back to, yeah, but how do we help all the parts? This is the answer. Well, look what self can do for you. Why don't you let me go check on the others?
She was like, oh, aha.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit jealous.
That's okay. She doesn't have to be alone. She can be on your team.
Yeah.
And you on hers. And her goals matter. And through you, all the parts' goals and wants matter.
This is a very, very big shift.
Mm-hmm.
Self and for Sally.
Yeah.
getting just a little space from Sally, getting her to disengage and engage with something habituated
Right.
ways. That's
Right.
really seismic for her.
Right. Right. I love how you said that, to engage in something different and bigger, and you know,
Yeah.
answering her question of who do you think you are from a different perspective.
Yeah. Really, that's just a wonderful thing.
Mm.
And it ironically, she's saying, ironically, it's what I feared most. We're trying to get little Kerri released from under the bed. The little one's trapped under the bed. If I can just get the little one out, then the system would shift to being something that was kind and nurturing and thoughtful and granting of hopes and desires. And that was actually Sally's fear, because she couldn't live in a world like that.
She couldn't live in a world like that?
Well, because she was controlling it, and that's not her nature as such. It's that self's nature, and she was so blended with self
that she thought she was the world builder, and there wasn't a world for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, self can have the generosity for every part equally.
Yeah. And she doesn't, she's saying, so I guess that means I don't have to steamroll self anymore, because it's to my benefit to be with self and not try to control self like another part. And she feels very surprised by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she can communicate with you in a unique way. She can be known by you in a way that no other parts or people are going to be able to know her.
Like you said earlier, she can just be her.
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't what she has been or felt she needed to be, although she was magnificent at it.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows she was magnificent at it.
Yeah. And again, we're not saying that she's got to discard all of her skills. If there's some powerful doing that needs doing, and she's the one for the job, or at least she wants to have be involved, there's no reason why she can't do that.
She keeps saying, when you said that, I want to rest. I need a holiday.
Great.
I really need a holiday. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Hypervigilance is just wrecking me. She feels softer now to myself, to self.
Mm-hmm.
And Sally's saying, I'm not sparring with you. I don't feel so urgently like I need to spar with you and question you. And that she said she feels and understands just a little bit that self has something to bring to her, to offer her.
Uh-huh.
Something she's never had before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's attracting. She is feeling grateful for having had her own campfire chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I'm feeling grateful that I could be a part of the journey. Thank you.
It's a wonderful suggestion. She's appreciating you for it.
You could try asking her what she needs from you going forward.
She said immediately more of this.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That'd be my suggestion.
Okay. She's happy with that. She's glad you're validating her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling her that I'm delighted to spend time with her and to find ways to nurture her and to not just appreciate and admire her for what she's done for the system, but to be present with her and to learn who she is and to help manifest that, whatever it is that she wants. And she's still, hesitant when I say all those things.
Yeah, seismic shifts take time.
Yeah. And she's happy just for a break. And she'd like me to come back and for us to make a practice of approaching each other differently.
Yeah, you got it. I don't have anything more to add or any other questions. Sounds to me like you're in the right place, and I would suggest keep doing what you're doing, and I'd love to keep working with you.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Your questions are really, really helpful. They're guiding. And I guess since I started to make this connection with IFS, I feel as if I need some kind of a guide. The internal stuff, the self stuff is good, working that way, but it's really helpful. And this session really brought that to light, that your probing can bring the parts to speak in a way that I can't always, because they're so blended, or there's such a, not that the self is weak, but it's struggled.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden. Parts are strongly blended, and sometimes it's nice to have someone, just another perspective to catch things that are blended, masquerading as self, or have some interesting avenues.
Yeah, I would really be keen to continue working, because I can see how I'm looking for that guide, and I can see how your gentle, open approach, kind of like to bring Sally to that place, is, like I said, as she said, it's seismic.
It's awesome. Okay. Well, we can do it again.
Great.
I'll be in touch with more links, and we can set up more times.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. It was lovely to meet you.
You too. Thank you.
I wish you well on your adventure of Vietnam.
Okay. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be in touch.
Thanks, James.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.